EGM Network.
This is Martha Matters. From real estate, healthcare, current events, taxes, or just about any topic, we're talking about it. Call us with any questions on just about any subject. Now, here she is, Martha!
Well, hi there, and welcome. We have an interesting time today talking about a statistic that I never even thought of looking at. I'm going to start off by saying I myself have a property with rentals, and I absolutely love the tenants. And as an owner, you may not want too many very short-term rentals in and out, because it's really a nuisance. Interviewing new people, some have good interviews but aren't very accountable. Some are accountable but very quiet. It's hard to figure out who makes a good tenant. So when you have good tenants that play on time, that stay in touch with you if something's wrong, they're very understanding, and I just love the ones I have, and I've had them a few years now. I'm not talking about them. I wish everybody would have renters like that. They pay on time, they're clean, they mow the lawn for you, the whole 9 yards. It is absolutely wonderful, and I wish everybody the same. But there are also good reasons why you need to rent. It's not because you're poor. Mostly it's by choice. There are elderly people that have relatives that may or may not be well educated and patient. You don't want to throw them 2 or 3 homes that you've enjoyed all your life and have them sell them and go through all the traveling and in and out until they get sold. You want to make it easy for your heirs, which are usually your children. So if you can be more liquid from certainly the mid-70s, 80s, and 90s, it makes sense to rent and have your proceeds from selling your properties in liquid assets, whether it's stocks, whether it's savings bonds, whether it's even CDs, or even checking accounts that will pay interest, but as long as the money is safe. That gives a real elderly person a sense of confidence and peace, knowing they may die in 20 years, they may die tomorrow, but it's one thing they don't need to think of. That's one type of rental.
Another thing, too, Martha, I want to interject, is a lot of people, when they get older, they don't want the responsibility of having to fix the house, find somebody to do it. They can't physically do it themselves. Mentally, they're sick of it. They've been working on it for 50 years or whatever, and they're ready just to downsize and have a life, if you will, some people say, you know?
Yes.
Enjoy with their life.
And not be paying for all these repairs and doing bids and making sure that you're not being taken or cheated upon. All of those things. And then there are the younger people out of college. They haven't gotten the career of their choice, but they do have a job. They're going to rent until they really find the best situation. Also, there are some that want to go on and get a master's degree, so they rent an apartment. It's sometimes cheaper than the college dorms, and also more quiet for studying. If you want a graduate degree, there are also people who rent because even though they're paid very well, they may even have real good positions within their company. but they have to travel a lot. And so they're not going to be home most of the time. Every week, fly here, fly there, and then come home. If something breaks or goes wrong in your house, it's a worry that you don't need to worry about. So you rent. And it doesn't mean that you can't afford a home. In most cases, and especially in that scenario, it's a choice. They don't need an extra worry when they can rent and not worry about doing the repairs themselves, especially when they're not home a good percentage of the time. There are also people who are transferred. They're long-term employees, make good money, but they transfer them to different states every 2 or 3 years or less. And it's not worth the money of buying a house and trying to sell it for those shorter times without losing a lot of money. So there are all kinds of good reasons for excellent renters. I'm not putting renters down whatsoever. And like I said, especially since I have them, I love them. I even have some renters that we exchange Christmas presents with and everything else. We'll fully respect one another. But there is one class of renters that administration is looking at, and I never thought of it this way. There are people who may not be renting at all, have a part-time job, but somebody who is renting will loan them a room or a second or third occupant. Like, if one person really wants to buy a house, rent to own, that's beautiful. But a couple of people who don't make enough money, and unfortunately, some of them may even make money off the books. Yes, we have a good percentage of that kind of person. They will throw the chief renter $200 or $300 a month to help toward their rent. But basically, they're not paying any bills. They may not even have a car. They may go to their mother's home for dinner, if not every day, a couple of times a week, and she'll give them some leftovers to bring back and so forth. There are all kinds of situations where if people like that don't rent, don't have a car loan, don't have tuition reimbursement loans to think about, what are they all doing? And they're in a long-term situation where they have no desire to get an apartment of their own, look for a girlfriend or a boyfriend that they can support or deal with as a couple. Those are the renters or non-renters that administration is looking at. Why? Even if they have a part-time job off the books, that until you investigate, you don't know where they're making money, if they're making any money, or they're being given a grant or something by someone else off the books. Those are the ones that are making up all our rioters. Those are the ones that all of a sudden love this new applicant for New York City mayor, where they can get free food, free housing, which is basically what they have now. They know how to make money off the books, and they can make not just pocket money, not just weekly expense money. Many of them make much more of an income than some people that are fully employed. And, free food, free housing, nobody's going to come after me. And there are people like that, as well as the poor ones that have no ambition because they don't have to have ambition. Mommy will feed them. Their mother or father will feed them. if they suddenly don't have any pocket change. There are all kinds of people like that, and those are the ones that want communism. Those are the ones that want trouble. Anybody who lives for all basic freebies without accountability are trouble. And it's not just in the United States, it's everywhere, including the communist countries, Russia. They can get free food, but if they have no income whatsoever, those are the ones lining the streets. Those are the ones that have to be controlled by police. Those are the ones that are bad-mouthing when good things are done and actually think they know something. Those are the troubles. And unfortunately, in socialist and communist countries, we have a lot of people along that line because socialism encourages people to earn their own money, keep their mouth shut, and be controlled. Why do you think freedom of speech was such a big issue in the founding of the United States? And we don't realize the freedom that they're thinking they can use and are entitled to is okay, and they have all day to stand online and block other people from going to work, block other people from attending colleges and universities, block other people from traveling on business by blocking highways. That is not freedom. That is criminal activity. And now I understand why people who have almost no expenses, they're not accountable to anyone, make up a large percentage of the trash that we have that is demonstrating and even hurting our ICE agents from getting rid of criminals. So one of the features of these people is they either have long-term minimal renting by paying someone else who rents, or they have no renting whatsoever, or live with a relative or mom totally for free and get their food for free and have all the time in the world to go demonstrating, especially if they're paid by people like George Soros for 5 days of protesting and get pocket change. What could be easier? There's nothing to it. We'll gladly do it. And the reason I know that is true, a good percentage of those people, when you say they're anti-Semitic, I said, where is Israel located? Some of them don't even have a clue. And the saddest thing that hurt me for several years in the 1990s and early 2020, early 20s, the 21 to 25, what really bothers me is even on TV, there are other people doing it. But the first one way back was Leno on the Night Show. He had Jay Leno had what's called jaywalking. And he went in the general public of very young people. By young people, I say well under 35. Most of them were 17 to 25, and said, where is this located? What does this president stand for? Who was the first president? And none of them have the right answers. And they said, oh, what party are you affiliated with? Independent, Democrat, Republican. And he says, well, I picked the Democrats because they seem to have the most money. They certainly give little pieces of it to us. That's a reason for voting for a party. These are the people that will demonstrate in the streets. And if they watch their fellow citizens that they are with do shooting, knock people over, set their property on fire, all kinds of things. Oh, that must be okay. I'll do that too. And that is the culture that has to be addressed and has to be stopped. In any good society, especially free societies, the number one thing, all people have to be accountable. Totally accountable. I know of a couple of people in Vero Beach. They get welfare money and they're very skilled. They will do a lot of things, but they only want to be paid in cash and off the books because they want to keep their Medicaid and they want to keep their income from unemployment. It's scams like that that need to be stopped and really stopped. And one of the biggest statistics, they either have several adults in one apartment, so they're paying $50 each for rent. None of them have signed a lease. Or they're living off of friends, throwing them $100 and not paying rent at all. Or their long-term rents struggling, but they're not taking advantage of programs for achieving skills for free or for minimum cost. I have a granddaughter who's been nothing but a bartender, dropped out of college a long time ago, and is bored with that and realizes there's no future with that. You don't meet quality people with that. So she just saved all her tip money, and in 8 months or 8 weeks, she could become like a first responder. And she's tickled pink doing that. And now, all of a sudden, she wants to buy a car because she can. And that means being accountable and paying a loan. She doesn't have cash put away to buy a decent car. She has enough for a down payment. But at least she's getting started. Where people like that can be liberal all they want because they had the time of day to pass. They could go on demonstrations and what have you. And those are the types of situations that we are looking to find those people, not condemn them, but change their habits. And we will all be better off for it. So let's take a quick break, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. I want to introduce you to our main sponsor, Highland Plaza, located on US 1 on the east side of the Highland Drive traffic light. We even have our own left-hand turn lane. One of the places in there, the first one on the north side, is Easy Stop, and you will be surprised what competitive and beautiful prices they have. You should give it a shot. Also, Tony's hairstyling salon is ideal for the entire family at all ages. He and his wife have run a salon there for years with a huge following. Also, we want to tell you about La Taberna restaurant. It has the freshest Mexican food in town and a well-experienced chef. You will be most surprised not only by the food, but the reasonable prices. Also, I want to tell you about the nail salon. It's Luxury Nails. Let me tell you, they do everything, both for walk-in clients and appointments. Appointments are really appreciated, but they treat all clients professionally. Now, I want to repeat to you, this is located on US 1, just east of Highland Drive at the traffic light. It's a beautiful yellow building with a maroon awning. We look forward to seeing you there. Come on over.
Sturgis Lumber is more than just lumber. Timber! Residential, commercial, and industrial applications. Sturgis has all of the hardware to help with your project. Visit SturgisLumber.com. 4 generations strong, Sturgis Lumber and Hardware. More than just lumber.
Welcome to Riverside Theater's Comedy Zone, where the comedy is wild, untamed, and downright hilarious. Hit the zone this Friday and Saturday night at 6:30 and 8:30 for the Treasure Coast's best live stand-up comedy show, featuring nationally recognized comedians with cabaret-style seating and food and drink table service. Buy tickets at riversidetheater.com and get ready for a night of non-stop laughs.
It's time to call Easy Brew Coffee and Bottled Water Service and learn just how much you can save and how convenient it is to have your coffee and bottled water delivered right to your home or office. In addition to water coolers, Easy Brew offers individual bottles of water in 8 or 16-ounce bottles. No more lugging it home or dragging it into the office. Serving the Treasure Coast for over 2 decades, 2 letters, 1 simple name. Easy for Easy Brew. Visit e-zbrew.com or call 800-792-3285. Easy Brew.
Oh, not yet. Hi, and welcome back. I just really want all of you who find sometimes working hard, you pay your taxes, and then all of a sudden I'm charged more for food and everything else. Woe is me. Don't ever develop that attitude, and you're not alone. All of us have that. All of us have had that feeling many times in our life. If you think you're being abused by society, if you think you're being abused by your spouse, by your family, whatever, that is really not the case. Either some of them mean well, and if they don't mean well, they're sick. But you don't need to be sick also. So my handling of different situations in the past, I just move away from them and set my own life. And sooner or later, some of them come back and apologize, some don't. Some apologize on their deathbed, which is kind of late. But whatever the case is, it is. The point is, there comes a time you need to forget about people who do not wish well on you and go ahead and do your best, and you be a good person and you be kind to other people. So I want you to leave this show in less than a minute and say, today I'm going to do a good deed to a needy person, and I'm going to be nice and kind to everyone else. Not a sissy, truly kind. And there's nothing wrong with saying no if something is wrong. You are still a kind person and always be that way. So have a good day.